So I do have for later, well, may not be long for you, but okay, we will go over some COPD stuff. And then to end on a hoot and a holler, I'm going to try and read the weird little concocted imagination stories with the information that I asked you to give me. I had two from Carla, one from Glinda, Glinda, and I made three weird little short tales. And the biggest problem is going to be me reading them without getting all tongue-tied. So, I'll get back to you later. I will. I promise. I will. Okay, I decided I better not wait too long because since I didn't do a vlog yesterday, I need to do this one and get it up today. Um, so I'm going to take care of the COPD stuff first. I am very sorry that I didn't get my little bit of painting that I did done and uploaded. My camera still isn't working right. It's bumming me out, but I am not going to stay bummed. Just going to sit on mine. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about what happens with your lungs. Now, normally we take air in through our nose, up through our um, sinus or whatever, and that's where it gets warmed and all of that good stuff, moistened. Anyway, then it goes down through our trachea, through our bronchi, into our lungs. And down there are little bubbles. They're like, there's little air sacs, is what they call, alveoli is the real name. Air sacs that are, according to what I've read here, they're about the thickness of a soap bubble. But they do a very important job because what they do is they take in the oxygen that is distributed then from them into the bloodstream. Now, when the body is done with the oxygen that has been used up, it goes back to the lungs, and what it sends back to the lungs is carbon dioxide. So when you're inhaling, you're breathing in 21% oxygen. That's what's in our normal air around us. And you're breathing out, I don't know what percentage, but you're breathing out less oxygen, a lot less, and more carbon dioxide. Now, if you have COPD, there are these little cilia in there that are like little hairs, and they take the the mucus out. Okay, when you have COPD, the air sacs and the cilia become somewhat paralyzed, and some are even destroyed. And what this does is it causes the airways to swell and narrow. Okay, then the lungs don't stretch like they're supposed to. They're supposed to stretch and stretch and compress, just like an air bubble you would see on an air bubble. But for someone like me, it doesn't compress right. It likes to stay loose and open or flaccid or whatever, instead of compressing and pushing the carbon dioxide out. So I get too much carbon dioxide to allow enough oxygen in. Thus, I'm wearing an oxygen delivery system. that gives me gives me that extra boost of oxygen. And breathing is a matter of if I get short of breath, or anybody, you breathe in through the nose, purse your lips and breathe out through the mouth. What the pursed lip breathing does is it causes that positive pressure that helps to push the carbon dioxide out of the lung. You also want to make sure you breathe deep into the lungs because your diaphragm needs to work. We don't need that diaphragm. It's a muscle. And what happens to muscles if they don't work is they become atrophied or they become hard and they don't work properly. It's why people who are bedridden and don't get exercise to their limbs, become like this. It's because those muscles have contracted to the point, and it takes a lot of work, little at a time, to get those muscles working again. Okay, your muscles, the problem with the diaphragm here is that it's the lungs that are making it, it's when you breathe deep that it gives more exercise to that muscle. If you're not breathing deeply into the lower part of your lung, it's not flexing that muscle as good as much as it should. Anyway, so we can learn to live with COPD. So I will talk about that later. You see me doing things that help me live with COPD. It's not invisible. I don't do as much moving around. I'm not carrying my camera around like a lot of these. I'm not running. And so I do more of this kind of stuff. Okay, I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm going to read those. I dare you not to fall over laughing. If I read them right, I've got to not become tongue-tied. Okay, this first one is due to Mrs. Carla Sherman. And she did two of them, which I really appreciate. The first one is, a store. That was the other one I gave you, a store. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what she gave me. It's in the story. Carla Sherman drove to Walmart in Blue Rapids to buy the last 39-year-old purple goose. If she roasted it with purple potatoes at her house at 39 Bleecker Street in Frankfort, the Miller family could all celebrate a sumptuous purple goose dinner with purple potatoes. She'd make purple iced tea to complement her purple bride. Thank you, Carla. I managed to get through that. I know it's my fault. I wrote it that way, but my tongue didn't get tied. That was a bit of a tongue twister, but I did it that way on purpose because I love tongue twisters. Okay. We are now back with something a lot more fun. Saturday, I asked you to put something in the comments that involved certain items or certain people, places, or things. Okay. I had to cut short on the one for Glenda Wilson because I goofed myself up. So Glenda, we are going to try again. In 2066, Glenda Wilson arrived in Toronto, Canada, driving her brand new 1966 Ford Galaxy. Her journey began in Miami, Florida, and took less than 66 seconds. Her pet red-butt baboon made the time jump with her. She'd heard that Canadian iced tea tasted more friendly when properly served. So for the sake of research, she made the dash. When she arrived in Toronto and found a specialty Canadian iced tea shop in the floating business district, but there were 10 more new-looking 1966 Ford Galaxies parked on the street level. She picked up a red-butt baboon named Chucky and placed him in a pen with all the other red-butt baboons. At least none of the other time travelers' 1966 Ford Galaxies were baboon butt red. Sorry about the little bit at the end. I will reread that last sentence because it's funny if it's read right. Maybe funny if it's read wrong, but at least none of the other travelers' 1966 Ford Galaxies were I can't do it! One more time. At least none of the other time travelers' 1966 Galaxies were baboon butt red. Got it! I got it! Okay. All righty. Carla Sherman's next one. I had to have some fun with this one. If you're old enough, you'll recognize the references. But anyway. Carla chose to visit her cousin Howard at a coffee shop in Waco, Texas. The Waco coffee shop only served black coffee with choices of sugar and cream. When Carla asked why, Howard replied, "This is Texas, little darling. We don't water down anything in these parts. We don't need that fancy Chino stuff." Carla said, and Howard chatted for a while. Texas style, which is no different than any other type of chatting. Then she said goodbye and made her next trip to New York, where she paid 99 cents for breakfast at Tiffany's. From New York, she flew to Paris to play the piano at Moulin Rouge, for which she earned an 8-toed koala. Goodbye, take. I don't know how many. I hope you have had fun. I hope you enjoyed the cute, funny flash fictions that were prompted by you. Anybody wants to get in on the fun, just put down those items. I think I referred to them again. They are a number, 2 towns, a store, a number, 2 towns, a store, a weird animal, and a beverage. That's what it is. So, if you need to rewind this in order to make sense of that, please do, because I don't know if I want to repeat it. Have a good one. I love you. You're my stars. See you tomorrow.